how that works out. So, welcome to me in. Today we are going to focus on more hips and heart space, not just the way we normally think of it as front of the heart, front of the hips, just open. We also need to take care of the back body as well if we really want to feel balanced. And I think right now balance is something we all feel like we are lacking a little in one way or another. So let's go ahead and get started seated. We're not going to get started with that juicy heart opener, hip opener. We're going to get started pretty neutral. So if it's comfortable for you, even to keep the hips neutral, I'm going to suggest kneeling. So maybe that means sitting on some pillows. Your knees can be wide, that's fine. If you have a narrower bolster or narrower form of support, even blocks, you can sit that way. I'm kind of demonstrating right now all the different ways that we can do this. Just trying to sit so the hips are higher and there's no real extra rotation of the femur in the hip socket. So getting comfortable, as comfortable as you can. And if you are comfortable sitting more in that hero's pose, knees together, toes untucked for now, we're not going to start with the toe stretch. We want to start in a place of peace and comfort. Go ahead and start there. And then give yourself some wiggles, give yourself some shakes. And let your eyes close. It might feel good to move through the hands, to wiggle through the toes. Sometimes as we're seated this way, to move through the hands just means to massage or even rake the thighs with our fingers. And as you do this, feel sensation in the fingers as well as through the legs. Maybe even begin to apply a little more pressure as if you're really digging into the flesh. Giving yourselves a little fascial massage. And then allow the hands to rest wherever it is that is comfortable. So maybe it's closer to the knees with straighter arms. Maybe the elbows are tucked in towards the waist, palms closer to the crease of the pelvis. Wherever it is, just allow yourself to settle. Notice if the crown of the head, if the back of the head can lift up a little bit higher. Ears, maybe even the shoulders lean back about an inch. Your inhale, lifting the shoulders up, guiding them down and back, opening the front of the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together towards your spine, and then use the muscles of the rhomboids to pull them down your spine. Allow the belly to come in, even scoop up, and soften the face. We're going to allow ourselves now to work with a little bit of Mula Bandha, helping the pelvic floor, this root walk area, to really not only find contraction and lift and elevation, but sometimes we need to release that area as well. It is possible to apply too much effort, too much strength in our Mula Bandha to where we're constantly clenching and we don't even know it. And it can really begin to add some extra stress to us. So what I'd like you to do is just with the body soft, feeling supported. I'd like you to imagine your body as one long elevator shaft, maybe a very tall building, maybe only a few stories. And as you breathe, I want you to feel your pelvis heavy. And imagine your pelvis is at the lobby level. First floor. Just notice how it feels to try and find that neutrality. And on your breath in, I'd like you to begin to tighten and lift the pelvic floor up to the second floor. Exhale, softly relax back down to the lobby level, that first floor. Now it's the same muscles that women, you'll notice, as Kegels, for men and women alike. It's also the same muscles that we use to cease urination. So that same constriction that we feel. There's more also going on down there, but that's the easiest way to really describe it, so it's a tangible idea. So on the inhale, contracting those muscles, feeling a lift up and in, climbing up to the second floor. Exhaling, try to soften, let those muscles spread apart as the elevator softly lands back down at the lobby level. Now, it's important to integrate more breath work into this. So let's let our breaths get a little bit deeper. So as we inhale fully, doing this exercise, maybe we come up to the second or third floor, letting each count of the breath represent another level, another floor that we ascend. And then as we exhale, it's a slow exhale as we descend back down to that lobby level. Practicing this. Up as we inhale, feeling it fully in your body. Going down as we exhale. Perhaps even allowing there to be so much softness, so much relaxation in the pelvic floor. You find the basement. You go even lower than that initial lobby level or that first level. And then the inhale brings you back up to the lobby and you climb your building. Can you even imagine if that elevator is hard for you to see in your mind? A path of light, maybe an orb of color, traveling up the body, noticing how high it can get, and then down the body, again, finding the pelvic floor, or maybe even a little bit lower, maybe more towards the ground if you can get to that basement level, with true relaxation. Now our root chakra is where we find our security, where we feel safe, where our basic needs are met. So as we begin to open up and let there be some fluidity in this chakra, as we allow there to be tightness and opening and flowing of energy, can you allow yourself to be safe, to feel provided for? As in all chakras, it's helpful to find a feeling of gratitude as you move energy through that pathway. But especially this one. Feel gratitude that you are provided for. And if this feels a little too woo-woo for you with chakra mention, it's all imagery. It's like storytelling. It's a way for us to imagine these places in the body that we can bring emotion, bring sensation together. Let your exhales get a little bit slower and a little bit longer. Perhaps there's even a suspension of the breath after the exhale, so maybe you rest in that basement level just a little bit of time, enjoying the softness, the stillness. Then intuitively the body will let you know when it's time to take another breath in and climb back up. Doing this several more times, not too many more. So trying to find your highest elevation, your softest landing in that basement, and then maybe some rest there. Really enjoying that time and that space. This exercise that we're doing is not only good for the mind, for our emotions, it's really good for our bodies as well. No matter what your age, whether you're male or female, especially females who've had children, who are having children, can really help strengthen muscles that support our pelvic floor, which we need that. You know, we have this abdomen that has these walls, front, back, sides, top and bottom. And as we breathe, the pressure in our abdomen changes so that our diaphragm can pull, our lungs can expand and take in air. We need a nice strong pelvic floor to support this so that our organs can stay up, and that way there's no prolapse. So it's important to keep these muscles strong, but also learn to relax them when we need. Do one more full inhale. And one more full exhale. And then I'd like you to let the hands come down to the floor, tuck the toes, and press back through the heels. Now I'm going to turn towards the side so you can see what I'm doing. So I was sitting like this. Now I'm going to tuck the toes, and I'm going to push back, and I'm going to stretch the bottoms of my feet. If you like, you can even lift up the knees, round the back, get a nice good stretch just like this. Tucking the chin. You might feel a stretch go beyond just the toes and the bottoms of the feet. It might go towards the back of the heel of the calf. You can rock and move back and forth, really stretching the toes, rocking, getting to the calves. Perhaps coming to hands and knees, getting some spinal flexion and extension. Allowing there to be breath that guides you. Not worrying about where the exhale is, where the inhale is with the shapes. What I would like you to do is initiate each movement with the breath. So for example, if I'm going to inhale into my cow, I'm going to start my inhale now, and then let the movement follow the breath. It's almost a tag along. And then I'm going to begin my exhale and allow the body to ride the wave of that exhale. Notice how much more connected to the body that you can get when the breath is what leads you. How much more space in the body for the breath there is. Begin to shift the hips from right to left, making a C shape, so really opening up the side of the body. Maybe gazing back at that hip. And then switching sides. And again, press the hips from right to left. And then let the legs come around in front of you. And we're going to start with a half butterfly. So the right leg long, and then the left knee bent. So depending on where your comfort level is, bringing that left foot in to the inside of the right thigh. And then depending on your low back, if you have SI stuff going on, I want you to fold straight forward. If not, if it feels good and you want more of a hamstring stretch in that right leg, I want you to rotate your chest over so that your sternum is aiming directly over the right knee. And from there, you'll inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to bring the heart forward. You'll notice the stretch, the sensation there. This is yin yoga, so we're not going as deep as we possibly can. But allow yourself to feel something. And I invite you today to set a mantra. And I'd like to suggest one, as I usually do. And today I'd like you to not only have your mantra, but your intention be, what is my intention? It's not funny to have an intention asking yourself, what is my intention? And it's important. Creating a clear intention for your day, for your practice, very important. You can choose one sentence. You can choose an emotion. Something that you'd like to accomplish or to feel accomplished today. Maybe that's a feeling of peace. Maybe it's an attitude that you wish to share. And that can be in your practice or in your daily life. But anytime that you begin to feel your mind wandering as it does, I'd like you to ask yourself, what is my intention? And then wherever the mind travels, whatever thoughts, whatever imagery comes to you after that, just observe it. You ask yourself what your true intention is. What do you really want? What is the point? I think you'll find answers. And if not, just be with whatever comes. Knowing that some point in the future, there may be an answer somewhere in there. Now your knee can be as bent as it needs to be. You can also lift up your hips to modify. Something that can be really helpful if you tend to hyperextend a bit with the knee. Just to place a rolled up blanket or towel under it. It's a problem that I personally have, so I am very conscious of making sure to offer that. So just something nice so that the knee has a soft bend. And if you'd like, the spine can round, or you can have a straighter, more metal element of the spine, guiding the heart forward, squeezing the core in and up, all the way around. So using the back muscles, the front of the abdominal muscles, and the obliques to really squeeze and wrap in so that you can direct your energy upward and forward. What is my intention? What do I want? How do I want to feel? What do I want it to look like? Deep breath in and deep breath out. Rise back up. Now counter stretch, counter movement for this would be just hands behind you, both legs long, and then either bending through the knees and windshield wipering through the knees, or through the toes, or even bending through the knees, lifting the pelvis up, whatever feels good for you as you prepare for the other side. So this time the left leg is long. The sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the left leg. Then you just prepare yourself, noticing if you'd like to come straight through center or focus more on the posterior chain that runs all the way up the back of the leg, through the glute, and even the low back. As you're ready, taking your fold, keeping the back of the neck smooth, so that means a tuck of the chin. Still guiding forward with the heart. Allowing yourself as much stillness as what feels good. If because of anatomy or other reasons, you don't really have the space to really collapse over that leg, what I'm going to suggest is more of that metal element. So bringing yourself up and then bringing the heart up and forward, almost like a cow pose. So feel your tailbone flip up behind you, heart up in front of you, and you're not going to need to fold down as much. You're still going to feel a stretch. You're going to feel the back body work. You're still going to get a lot of benefit, depending on your needs, maybe even more benefit out of this being your half butterfly than maybe this. Just release any attachments to what you think the pose should look like or should feel like. If you're alone, you feel, even if it feels weird, if you're alone, there's no one else around so you don't feel embarrassed, I'd like you to say your intention out loud several times. Hear it spoken. If creating an official intention was hard, it felt like a lot of pressure, just begin to talk to yourself. What do you want? Just for today. What do you want today? Could be something bigger, maybe a goal that you have. Or again, how do you want to feel? Maybe just as a result of your practice. What do you want? Let yourself hear it audibly. Three more breaths. And then you're going to rise back up. And again, allow yourself to have some counter movement, counter stretches, whatever that means for you. Maybe sitting and opening the heart. Our next pose, we are going to find our butterfly pose. And then we're going to work on, we're going to kind of shuffle back and forth between the two. So we're really working on the hips right now, but we will get to the heart. So as you're ready, soles of the feet together, knees apart. And it doesn't matter how close the knees are down to the ground. If you're striving for some reason, whatever it is, to get the pelvis close to the heels, the knees down to the ground, a hack, a trick would be hands behind you, lift the pelvis, bring it forward, and notice how that kind of just magically helps you find a little bit more depth. Now, you may not have as much as I do. I have to be very open here. And there's real no significant value. It's, again, all about sensation. So you may be feeling here what I feel when I'm all the way forward. What matters is what you feel. So really tap into that. Notice where you're feeling what sensation, okay? As you're ready, let the soles of the feet be together or let them open up like a book. You can hold on to the feet. You can rest your elbows on the legs. You can also use props in front of you. You're not going to see me here in just a second. But like a kickstand. You can use them like a pillow for the elbows or the forearms. Maybe use one for the forearms and make a pillow for the head. Whatever it is, allow yourself to forward fold, either keeping that metallic element or an earthly element. Noticing if there's a point where you're too deep, because it is possible to go too deep and go beyond your edge. If so, work back, come back. Allow it to feel appropriate for what type of practice we're doing. While we do want a nice stretch here, we don't want to overstretch, especially in these more passive poses. You can overstretch. Not worth it. Take care of yourself. As you feel relaxed, allow the breath to return slowly, completely in and out of the body. If you can, in through the nose and out through the nose, but you might need to allow the mouth to help, using a combination of nose and mouth to breathe. It is totally up to you. In this shape, if you'd like, you can also work with that pelvic floor, that mula bandha. You might even feel as your elevator rises, your belly can pull in and up, engaging Uddiyana Bandha. And then as that relaxes and releases, the elevator begins to plummet back down. Fix focus, concentration. It's one way to really get to know your body. There's a lot of self-exploration in yoga, and sometimes that means with our body, even with the more personal, private parts of our bodies. Those are important. It's part of our daily life. Allow yourself to be comfortable with those parts, as vulnerable as they may feel. Deep inhale, rise back up. And I want you to hold on to your ankles, give a little support, and find some movement in your butterfly wings here. You can use a little bit of wood element to pull your heart forward, pulling the ankles towards the body, lifting the heart forward. Give yourself a taller spine. So I'll show from the side what that would look like. So instead of just being here, you're here. So like I said, begin to allow your butterfly wings to move, maybe one at a time, maybe both slowly. Maybe they pick up more speed, they rock back and forth, or they flap like an actual butterfly. Just allowing hip socket to get some lubrication, some movement. Sometimes these little bounces can feel really good. Good for the connective tissue, for the fascia. And it's kind of fun to be silly sometimes. Okay, now stretch your left leg long. Cross your right foot over the left leg if you're able. If not, just bring the heel in. Like this. And then we're going to take a twist towards the right. Now, you can bring that foot over the leg, get a little bit deeper twist. Again, if you're needing space for anatomy or pregnancy, bring the foot further towards the calf, give yourself more room, and don't squeeze your abdomen as you twist. Just allow the right shoulder to pull back and the left shoulder to come forward. So it's purely chest up. The low belly is nice and soft. Another option, depending on how far along or how you're going to adapt your pregnancy, is to only take open twists. So right now we're closing. You notice how we're closing the belly? We would take a twist this way instead and lean back to allow for some space. Let's do the other side. This is just a counter stretch. This is not part of a yin. This isn't our yin pose, so we're not really hanging out here for very long. So the right leg is long, the left foot is pulled in, maybe crossed over as we take our twist. Half Lord of the Fishes. Finding that counter open twist, letting it feel good too. And the reason that we twist is that it really helps with our back bending, with our heart opening. You'll notice as we do these 6 movements of the spine, it really helps us open up and allows our nervous system to feel safe doing so. So we're also going to, before we get into our heart opener, sit comfortably any way you'd like, and let's just take some side bends. We're not going to do this as its own yin posture just for time's sake. If you have time to take a longer practice, besides this hour that we have, you can rest in your side bend. Normally we reach up and over. You can just tuck that right hand in your back left pocket. Allow the right side to open up. But for how we are using this, left hand down, right arm up and over. Maybe even coming down to forearm. If you'd like, you can open the chest, cactus the arm. Totally up to you. We're just trying to reach and extend. And then do the other side nice and slowly. Back up to center. One more twist. So let's twist towards the right. And twist towards the left. Now, it's time for a juicy back bend. I'm going to suggest blocks because you can get a little bit deeper. If you'd rather use a bolster or pillows or even pranayama pillow, rolled up beach towel, Use whatever you like. I'm going to suggest blocks though. So one block for the head as a pillow to start. You may not want it. You might want to have more of a true experience of a fish pose. You don't have a block for the head. The crown of the head is what's resting, really opening up through the throat. But for yin's sake here today, we're going to use blocks, and we're going to start on the lowest level. So one block between the shoulder blades, one block for the head. And I would say to start with the lowest level, but if you want a real opening through the front of the heart, that's going to involve closing through the back of the heart. So that means more of a, think of if you're doing this, more of this, okay? So I'm going to find a higher level. I'm going to find the medium here. I'm going to keep my pillow pretty low just to see how that feels. This is going to take some exploration, experimentation in your body. Always use your hands to cradle the head until it finds its pillow. Notice how it feels if you need your pillow higher, if you need to scoot anything. You want the bottom of your prop to be at the bottom of the tips of your shoulder blades. Allow the shoulders to melt laterally so the sternum is straight up. And I think that I'm even going to come up a little bit higher. I want to go real deep myself this morning. It feels good to me. I want you to do what is good for you. And if you go a little too far, you can always come back. So again, support the head, move your block. Make your adjustments. And then just let there be opening. So the thoracic vertebrae isn't really meant to back bend. It has a lot of limitation just because of the spiny processes. Around the T6 and 7, they're actually basically touching. So our real back bending comes from the low back. So you're going to notice just with how I am right here, there's a real arch in my low back. You can see it with my shirt. My chest feels open and expansive. I hope your chest feels open and expansive as well. If it feels like it's too much, if it's past your edge, I want you to come back down. Do less. As you breathe, as you inhale, feel the front of your ribcage open and expand. And as you exhale, things soften and settle, rest back in the center. Now the feet can be in line with your hip bones. If you'd like, you can let the knees fall open or the knees together, let the feet come a little bit wider. You can even stretch the legs long if you have room. It is up to you. Reminding yourself that you're not trapped wherever you are. Listen to your body and respond to those needs. Bring the hands to the back of the skull and then push into the head to lift the head up and tuck the chin. And then begin to come off of your props, coming on maybe to one elbow to assist, and move your props you have blocks, I'd like you to move them down to by where your feet are. You'll see why. And then I'd like you to begin to put your feet on the blocks if you like, or just on the floor, but roll them. You can hug the knees to the chest, make a nice little ball, maybe even tuck the chin and hold the feet, making yourself like a little egg. Or if you need a little more space, hands to knees, arms straight. Maybe head back down. Let there be some movement in the hips now. Big circles. You're tracing big hula hoops. Maybe the Costco size entire family pizza. Maybe more figure eights. And then let the left foot come onto a block. You can start with it on the floor if you like, but I have a suspicion that we're all going to be able to get it on the block. And it's going to help us later find a little more ease. I want you to pull the heel in towards your pelvic floor. Use your left hand to pull the ankle in towards the pelvic floor, and you begin to let the right knee come to the side so the right foot can begin to rotate up. Okay, this is protecting our knee. And then just allow that foot to rest, just right on top of that left thigh. Now, oftentimes we enter it like this and we bend. I wanted to have you practice bringing the heel in and then letting the knee fall out and the femur to externally rotate, because we're going to begin to work into finding more lotus shapes and different seated postures in the future. So from here, allowing there to be some perpendicularness from the front edge of your mat to the side edge of your mat. So you're kind of nice and straight here, level. Almost place a level on top of your shin. And the reason the foot is on a block is it prevents you from having to do this. You're going to feel more sensation here, allowing the right knee to fall away from your chest than if the foot was flat on the floor. If this is too much, come off the block. If you still need more, go ahead and grab behind the thigh or the shin. Just remember that we're not going for as deep as we can. A 3 to 4 on a scale of 1 to 10 of intensity. Anything above that is not going to allow your nervous system to feel completely safe and relaxed. We want this to be a complete rest and digest relaxation experience for the body. We don't want cortisol to be stimulated. We want the amygdala to be quiet. So that means ease in the body, ease in the mind. And now let that left foot come off your block so the foot is flat. Keep the legs how they are. Take your left hand and place it on your right knee. And then allow there to be pressure hand into knee as we cross the leg exactly how it is in the shape it's in, bringing that foot towards the floor. It may not come all the way down, that's okay. If that's the case, place a prop here, maybe a block or bolster. And then reorient. Find what feels good for the body. Notice where the hands would like to be, where the breath can move. Let there be a softening in the face. This is our final twist for the practice. So if you prefer something else, go ahead. One option would be to find more of an eagle legs and then drop that Or if that twisting doesn't feel good for your low back, you can drop both knees and let the right shoulder come up. Focus on letting the spine move and rotate how it needs to, while still getting a bit of a twist up here. So maybe right shoulder heavier, and then let that right knee come back. Maybe even lift up. If you need to, you can place a blanket or pillow between your legs. If that brings the twist more towards the upper quadrant of the body or the upper half of the body. Coming back up to center. Windshield wipering the feet if you'd like. Windshield wipering the shins to the knees. Finding some internal rotation of one thigh as external rotation finds the other. And then moving to the other side. So right foot up on the block. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Bring the heel towards the pelvic floor, which we've been working with a bit today, so feel comfortable there. And then begin to drag the heel up towards the front of the pelvis, letting the knee fall out to the side as the femur externally rotates, the inner thigh spiraling out. And that's going to bring where we would actually find half lotus here even. You're going to bring that foot up. So we're in this reclined, supported deer pose. What this would be called in yin. Noticing if you feel sensation. If so, where? Is it here? Is it here? Knowing that there's no right or wrong answer, just become aware. If you need more, take more. Maybe take a lot more. But notice why you feel the need to do that. And then how it feels the longer you sit there. This certainly feels great, but it's not yin. It's not helping my nervous system relax. So I'm going to come back to right here. I'm going to feel the breath move through my body. I'm going to enjoy that. Allow the face to soften, starting with the crown of the head, the scalp, the temples, allowing the forehead to feel a little bit wider, and then notice if there's any creases in the forehead begin to disappear. Relaxing between the eyebrows, the eyeballs, the eye sockets, the muscles of the orbit of the eye. Feeling down to the creases of the nose, the cheeks, corners of the mouth, inner ears, the jaw, all relaxing. Even relaxing the mouth so that there's space between the upper and lower rows of teeth. Tongue softening away from the roof of the mouth. Chin relaxing, maybe settling back. Deep breath in. And steady breath out. Right foot finds the earth. Right hand across to the left knee. And then we're going to cross that all the way over. Now, I just noticed a block of mine was kind of impeding my way. So I'm going to move that. And then notice how it feels to take a twist here. If there's anything the body needs or doesn't need. If there's any way that the arms would like to be. enjoy yourself in this twist. Again, there's options for other versions of a twist. If you'd like to take those, go ahead. Now, coming all the way back up, feet down to the floor, moving through the legs, maybe hugging the knees in, moving again through the legs with use of the arms or not. Hugging the knees in, maybe finding happy baby if that would feel good for you. Considering how you'd like to spend your Shavasana. I would suggest making sort of a recliner chair to help the heart stay open. This is going to look like, in an ideal situation, is a tall block and a medium block. And then a pillow or bolster to make your little ramp here. And then some additional support for under the knees. I am lucky enough to have 2 bolsters. You can use lots of rolled up towels or blankets. Those will work just fine. And then allow yourself to be supported. Slight tuck of the chin, so it feels like the forehead is slightly forward of the chin. You might even feel sort of a double chin coming on. It's a good sign. It's a bit of a Jalandhara Bandha. So today we found our root lock, Mula Bandha. At some point during the elevator exercise, we were able to work a bit with Uddiyana Bandha as we really reached our max capacity for lift and relaxation. And then every time we tucked the chin and lengthened the back of the neck, our Jalandhara Bandha was there for us. Notice if there's any way that you can be more comfortable than you are right now. Let the hands fall away, the feet fall open. Let the breath become a little deeper, just in time for the breath to relax and to find a more natural state of being. Keeping yourself aware if there's distractions, noticing what they might be. They might sound like, how they might feel in the body as a felt sense. And then allow yourself to slip away into your Shavasana, to find yourself soft, easy, calm, and quiet. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathing and being. Again, coming back to your mantra, your intention of having intention. And whatever it is, allowing it to be in this moment, accomplished and true. Feeling the peace of that accomplishment wash over the body, be steeped in your mind and felt in your emotions. Noticing if you'd like to extend your Shavasana, this state of rest, of peacefulness, or if you'd like to reintegrate now back. The decision is yours. There's no right or wrong answer. If you decide to keep resting, to keep being where you are, allow my voice just to be part of the background, to be waves rolling through your mind. It's time for you to wake back up into your waking self, conscious self. Begin to move your body. Fingers, toes, arms and legs. Take a deep stretch, reaching the arms overhead. Maybe even welcome in a big yawn. And then begin to blink your eyes open. Take in the natural light. Take in the surroundings. And as you feel ready, find a seated position. Sitting any way you'd like, maybe the way that I'm seated now, and easy seated. The legs are crossed at the shins, the ankles. Or you can sit the way that we started, maybe coming full circle. I'd like you to bring your hands to your heart. Slightly bow your head. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Thanking yourself for your practice. As I thank you for letting me join you in your practice. Thank you so much.